Okay, well, first of all, in STEM fields, as I'm sure you know, the pipelining, whether it's positive or negative, really does need to begin in the elementary school space.
Okay.
Um, so, subjects like math and different sciences really do build on knowledge that you've already gained. So, is it possible to be a junior in high school and decide, you know what, I really want to pursue chemistry? It absolutely is. However, if you've been exposed to STEM starting from elementary school, you will you will be more equipped academically to be able to make that a reality. It's possible whether or not you did, but it's going to be more likely if that's kind of how you built your identity. There's actually something called a STEM identity, and people are studying that as we speak. And basically, what a STEM identity tells you is, I'm a STEM person. Why is that important? Because at some point, and we all hit it, you are going to hit a wall that feels like a brick wall or a concrete wall in terms of your academics. If you think that you've just been lucky up to that point and you're really not a STEM person, you're much more likely to convince yourself that maybe this isn't for you. And there's quite a bit of attrition sophomore, junior year for students who have even decided to pursue a STEM academic subject. Whereas if you have a STEM identity, then you look at that as a hiccup. You know, you look at it as, well, this is going to be a really tough class. Let me see if I can line up tutoring. I'm going to need to devote more time to studying. So you see the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
So that identity is important, and I think I think you can find it in any field. Um, Shoot, NASCAR, right?
Yeah.
So you lose a race, and you're like, I guess I really shouldn't be a NASCAR car driver after all. Of course not. That's one moment in time, and you know who you are. And so, if you have a NASCAR driver identity, then you're going to keep at it.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you think your entire existence in that space was a fluke, then you probably are going to back away at your first adversity.
Okay. So, going off of that, I've always heard that the most influential years for a child is probably the first 5 or 6 years. That's where they really kind of get their identity, their personality, and things of that nature. Is it wise to necessarily, I guess, start with STEM education there, or maybe just kind of make that a forefront? Is that why you see PBS and things of that nature where they show scientists and all of that, Sesame Street, in that light?
Well, yes, and I think that many children are exposed to STEM-esque toys and games in their youth. I think overall, parents do a great job of that. You know, you look at, say, blocks. Do you look at blocks as a precursor to architecture, for example? Maybe not. But depending on the types of experiences and toys and exposure that young kids have, again, all of that plays into influence. So you're going to be able to influence kids by what you expose them to, by different things you say to them, by different messaging. And I feel like, again, most parents do an adequate job of that in the home. I think where many of us fail, quite frankly, is in not understanding the negative messages that our kids are going to receive once they leave our nest, for example. And so it's not a 1 year to 5 year job. This is something that we're going to have to combat because it's a real thing throughout our kid. And I don't mean personally, right? So you make sure your kids are in the right programs. They have the, air quote, right circle of friends.
Yeah.
Like, it's really all about building community around the direction you want your kids to go. And people do it with church, people do it in faith. People definitely do it with sports. So there's no reason we can't do it with STEM education.